All right, this is the BLACK+DECKER 20V cordless chainsaw. It's got a 10-inch bar on it. As you can see here, it is designed to be toolless, so you don't have to carry around a bunch of tools to adjust the tension on your chain, etc. It is cordless, obviously, like I just said. Clearly, we have this set on another language. We've got a oil bar system lubrication window here. Here's where you put your bar oil. I'll show you that in a second. Again, like I said, it's a 10-inch bar, which means this is 10 inches, as you can see here. And it is designed to where you can use this tension adjuster, so you don't have to have sockets and things like that. It weighs 6.8 pounds. Again, the 20 volt is the capacity on the battery. And without any further ado, let's get into the box and see what else we have. All right, so out of the box, it's pretty self-explanatory, but not really. This chainsaw videos that I've made over the years actually get a lot of views because there are a lot of questions from new people who've never run a chainsaw. So here are your parts and your pieces. So we'll start with the easy one here. Here's your battery charger. Obviously, that's where you plug it into the wall. And then I'll show you this in a second, but you line up the these ridges here, and then obviously there's your indicator light. And as it says here, if it's blinking green, it's charging. If it is a solid green, it is fully charged. If you get these red lines, that means it's either completely dead or it might have an issue with the battery itself. So let's just stay on the battery here for a second. So here's the battery. It's on the back side of the unit. To get it off, you just hit this spring. This is spring loaded. That's what holds it in. Slides out, and then again, you can see these metal ridges. And again, to charge it, you just essentially just slide this on, it clicks, and then you plug it into the wall. So it's very, very simple. Get out, slide it back off, go back here to your chainsaw, and then this will slide in just like it looks here. These metal teeth line up with those right there. Slides in. There's another angle, push it all the way in. This will click in. That's what holds it in right there, all right? So click it in, you're good to go. All right, let's go to the chainsaw itself now. So here is where your bar oil goes. Go to any home improvement store. You wanna keep this full, meaning you don't want it to run empty, all right? So before you use it every time, make sure this is full. Don't overflow it. Do not overflow this. Bar oil is very sticky. I recommend that when you fill it up, you don't do it on concrete or anything like that you care about. Put it on grass. Put it in a area where if it does run over, you can clean it up with a towel. It is extremely messy. All right, so what's this thing right here? So this is your hand protector, essentially, right? So whenever you're chainsawing, you don't ever want to hold it like this. You always want to make sure your hand is in the back. You have one in the front here, and then you have one in the back. The way all of these work is you're gonna have to pull this trigger back. You see how it's spring loaded? So if you just take the trigger and you try to pull it, nothing's gonna happen. It's stuck. It's kind of like a safety. When you pull this back, granted the battery's not in, you're gonna have to pull this back first, and then you can pull up your triggers here. You'll notice that it does come with a safety here. What do you want to call this? A zip tie. So you can't pull it up and for shipping. But again, once you pull this back, it's similar to a fire stick. So you have to pull this back to engage this. Pretty simple. Now let's go to the hardest part of it all. If you flip it around, you'll notice all these pretty cool diagrams that they put on here for you. I thought these were pretty neat. And it talks about, if you look here, it'll talk about the different tensions. So you don't want the chain to hang down. You want it to have according to them, a 3mm pull down. So if you go to the bottom of it, you can pull it just a little bit where there's a gap there, but not too much. And then that is obviously what they're saying is the correct way to do it. Now to use this tension, if you turn it this way, you're gonna tighten it, okay? It even shows it on here. There's a little, there it is, sorry about that. So if you wanna loosen it, you go this way. If you want to tighten it, you go this way. It's really simple to use once it's on. The hard part is getting it on correctly. And that's where everybody struggles. So this is what they give you here. This is your 10-inch bar. Something else that's a common question that I get all the time is, what direction does the chain go? So you see, here are your teeth right here. This is your teeth. This is where the cutting happens, right here. So this is going to face forward. And if you look, I believe, there's even an arrow. Yeah, there's an arrow right there. I just noticed that. So this hits the wood first. This is what does the cutting. So this is where the damage is done, right? On these pieces here. And here's another one. So this faces, if I can do it, if I can bend it correctly, forward. So the tip of the chainsaw goes this way. And again, your chain guard is something you should use when it's in storage or you're transporting it. So let's see if we can show you here essentially how do you get to this point right here. All right, so this is what it looks like when the cover comes off. You just essentially just unscrew that. That is what is going to protect all this stuff. So here's your main gear. This is the gear that drives the chain. Okay, so when the motor's running, this is going around and around this way. And then they even have a nice diagram in here that shows you, again, like I just showed you, here's the teeth part. This is the damaged part, going up and around this gear, and then back out and around back again. These are what lock into, I'll show you right here, this part of the chain. So see where there's a little tooth right here? That tooth grabs right here so that it stays on that gear. It's not that complicated, but again, it's something that kind of tricks people a little bit. And then when you look on the actual chain bar itself, this is called the bar, this part, you'll notice there is a little bit of a gap here and then this here, okay? So this piece right here is what sits on this piece right here. And this piece is what moves front and back to adjust your tension when you turn your knob. All right, so I took it off of the chain protector and I essentially just slid this on. I didn't do anything fancy. But what I did do is I made sure that these teeth were lined up in at least one gear. This piece was in front of the tension adjuster. And then you'll notice the rest of the chain is still on the chain bar itself. Now with it like this, if you take your cover and you're able to slide it back on and line it up correctly, you can get very lucky on your first try. See how I have it lined up, and then the tension, what do you want to call this? Adjuster is lined up right on top of that thread. You can go ahead and start to adjust this down. And what this does is it will keep the bar from flopping over one way or the other, so then you can get your tension correct. Okay, so what I did intentionally was I just spun it till it was tight. It's very tight. So this is not going anywhere. This is all, make sure this is all lined up correctly. Even if you look at it from the top, everything's like seating in correctly, okay? So look at my chain though. That's too loose, right? So again, what you're gonna do is you're going to pull this out until this has just a little bit of tension on it. Okay, so if you gently keep all this into the bar, pull out, you'll see it slide. And it's sliding right there. You probably can't see much slide, but look at the tension now. Just a little bit of tension. Might even be just a little too much. And then you get to where you want it, and then you're gonna go ahead and just tighten that down. Okay, make sure that's good and tight. Now let's check our tension. Look at that. Snaps right back, not too loose. You don't want these teeth inside here to be able to jump on the other side and get the chain stuck. So that's essentially good tension. Again, make sure this is tight as it can be. Make sure you fill it with bar oil. Make sure you fully charge your battery. And again, don't forget about the trigger. I hope that helps. Be safe.